Hey everybody, welcome back once again. Now I decided to do the 2 episodes in one review, and maybe I'll do the 1 episode next time, the weekly reviews. Honestly, I'll probably jump back and forth, but just take it as it is. Should be fun. What I do have to say first of all is the series is getting more and more interesting. I really loved the last 2 episodes, especially episode 8. Episode 8 was probably one of the best episodes of all the seasons. So, with that said, let me jump right in. Now, start with episode 8. The best part of this episode was the whole psychological, the counseling and going back and all that. Really raised a lot of questions, more questions than were answered. Really made you think. Now, of course, we know that Ryan went into counseling because of his dad, issues with his dad and all that, which there were more things revealed in episode 9, and of course I will get to that. Now, one interesting fact we did find out before Ryan went into therapy, or I can't remember what exactly the method was called, but we found out that his mother was put into the institution when he was 10. Now, maybe they've said that before, and I don't remember it, but it's the first mention that I remember. And it's nice to know what a tender young age he was when she was put in there. That's really part of the reason he was messed up. Now, let's go ahead and jump into. I might jump back and forth between this episode, but let's go ahead and jump in to the whole psychological, the dreams, or going back in his memories and all that, however you want to say it. Wilfred was in both dreams in a way, even though the Dalmatian said he wasn't Wilfred. Now, is he Wilfred? Is he another Wilfred? We don't know yet. The Dalmatian said he wasn't Wilfred, but at one point we did see that the Dalmatian was dressed up as Wilfred to fool Ryan. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. Right now, I'm not trying to think too much on it. I'm going to wait a couple more episodes, wait till the season finale, then I'm really going to sit down and think about it. But the whole dream was beautifully done. And, not the dream, but all the memories were beautifully done. The Dalmatian showed Ryan that Wilfred had not indeed burned the drawing. And I'm sure none of us really believe that the drawing was gone. Of course, it makes an appearance in the next episode, and again, I'll get to that. But Ryan outsmarted Wilfred, because in the real world, he's asked if Wilfred had buried it. He said he found it. He really didn't, but he tricked Wilfred into admitting it. And the whole skull story that Wilfred said was how Ryan tricked him. And Wilfred, of course, remembered that. Well, one thing I forgot to mention at the very beginning, there isn't as much humor in these 2 episodes. There's still a good bit of it, but it's not as much as it usually is. It really focuses on the characters and psychological twists and turns. But I really like that because it still gets you to laugh. It's still hilarious at times, but really delves into the other half of why Wilfred is so great. Now, like I said, the drawing wasn't burned. It was buried. So now we know that the drawing is still out there. Okay, the alien part. I don't believe many of us thought that Wilfred was really an alien. And if you did, there's nothing wrong with that. It's your theory. It could have easily been right. And it could still be right. Maybe not. Maybe so. But anyway, as soon as I saw I was calling BS, I was like, that's not true, that's not true. It was interesting to see. Of course, it cut to commercials right then, and it was a commercial cliffhanger, not the end of the episode cliffhanger. But still, it's like, no, that's not it, that can't be it. really wanted the commercial to end and the show to come back on to see what happened. Now, one more thing that I found interesting in the dream was that we saw a more sensitive side of Ryan's dad. He was angry at his secretary and taking everything out on her. And we see Ryan, as a child, of course, being taken out. And he looks at the last second and he sees his dad crying. Now, we know that either Wilfred or Dalmatian, or both, whatever, can make false memories. Is he luring Ryan into more false memories? Well, the Dalmatian said that not to trust Wilfred, but can we trust him? Are they the same dog, or being, or whatever? Of course we know Wilfred's a dog. I've said that in many of my reviews, but I was on the edge of my seat that whole episode, and I actually rewatched it after this episode to pick things back up, just because it was such a good episode. The second time around, it was almost like watching it for the first time. I'm hoping they go back to that, because Ryan is a little better now, but he still has so many problems. But anyway, there was still some funny stuff in that episode. Reebok's pumps, and Wilfred talking about that. Now, I'm 27, so if you grew up about the time I did, you remember when those Reebok's pumps were so awesome. Everybody had to have them. They're the coolest thing ever. Of course, they died out, and now we look back on them, and they're really silly. That was kind of like Scooby-Doo, as I mentioned in my last review. Kind of a shout out to my past, and probably me and the viewers' past. I found it really funny. And then the whole, the belly bashing bat or whatever, and the monster truck voice, "You've been whacked." Of course, I can't do it near as good as Jason Gann can do it. That was funny. It really added a lot of humor in there to keep it going, and not just rely on the psychological twists and turns, which is great. And the show balanced both out very well. Of course, the funniest thing to me in that episode was, at the end, they parodied The Breakfast Club. And I've seen that movie a billion times, so in the first two sentences that they exchanged back and forth, I knew exactly where they were going. Well, exactly, I didn't know what Wilfred was going to go into too, but I knew what they were doing. I knew what movie they were going off. So that was episode 8. Really impressed by that. I have a feeling that, especially we're going into 9 now, but I have a feeling that this season finale, unless episode 9 was the season finale, and I don't believe it is. I believe there are 13 episodes. But anyway, I believe this season finale is going to blow the last 2 out of the water. Last 2 are going to be nothing, whatever. We know, and I've said this in my last review, that something big is going to be revealed. I'm really waiting to see what that is. Of course, oh my god, the ending of episode 9. I'm getting into episode 9 right now. Now, when this episode first started, I knew that there was going to be a lot of trouble, as many of you probably did. There's no way you can get that entire family together and not have a lot of problems. Of course, the fighting started soon, I'll get into that later. Some of the funny things were in this episode. I want to get the funny things out of the way and get to the actual story development and everything. Was when Wilfred threatened to peel the Christmas tree. That was pretty funny. And again, that shows he's a dog. He really is a dog. And when his dad called him a girl, of course, he got upset about that. We saw that in the preview, so we already knew that was going to happen. When he was singing Christmas carols, and he had the sweater on later in the picture, those two were really funny. You see these videos all the time of dogs barking to songs. And of course, as far as we know, can you wait to that part? In the end, as far as we know, no one else in the family sees Wilfred as a human in a dog suit. So they probably just heard him barking the tune. And I thought that was pretty funny. Of course, we heard him singing because we see what Ryan sees. Now let's see. Anything else funny about that? Yes, Santa. The whole thing with Santa and Wilfred believing that Santa was real, and there was a quote at the end, but I'll get to that again. I'll get to that. That was more of a psychological story and all that. But when Ryan's dad came in as Santa, of course, Wilfred started peeing all over in the house, and Kirsten told him to get out. That was great. Again, they're really bouncing the humor and psychological twists, even though they're more psychological now, because they're winding down the season. At least I believe they are. But, it's great. It's directed well. It's acted well. They really know what they're doing. They really know how to mix the psychological stuff and the funny stuff. So, I have not been let down at all. There aren't really scarce, but there aren't too many shows that still go strong in the third season. There are plenty of them, but there are a lot more that by the third season they start to wind down and they're not as good, whatever. Now, we know that Ryan has had trouble with his dad, but I never suspected till now that Kirsten did. There's the perfume and the wine, the way she was acting. He said, "Oh, I got a new perfume. Do you like it?" or something. They said, "Oh, should I get a new one?" And she was really nervous. And then, feeding the dog at the table, her dad got on to her about that. And the age of the wine, she was really trying to impress her dad. She was so nervous. So it wasn't just Ryan that grew up in a bad place with him. She did too, but she does a lot better job of hiding it. She never really showed it until now. She was always trying to get Ryan to get back with his dad and all that. And maybe some of you suspected it, but I didn't. I didn't suspect that she had at least somewhat of a shaky relationship with him. And that was really interesting to find out, but that's not the big thing. Of course, the mom and the dad got into it. And that led, because of the drawing, somebody put the drawing in, of course it was Wilfred. Probably Wilfred. It could turn out and have a twist that was somebody else. But that really got an argument going because the mom thought it was from the dad and started yelling at him about, she's messed up. She took it as the wrong way. As she was in the middle of a perfect family or something like that and ruining it. So she starts going with the tyrant and rave about, all this stuff, yelling at the dad, and she almost reveals that Ryan committed suicide. This causes Ryan to jump up and yell. And the tension is something else they showed us really well. They're yelling back and forth, and the mom gets really upset and runs off. And then Ryan goes to Wilfred to talk to him about it. Wilfred made a really good statement here that in any normal family, the drawing would have brought them closer together. And that's true. We know that family is far from normal. And there aren't really many normal families out there, but most families would really be drawn together by the drawing. And this one tore them apart. Now this is my second favorite part of the episode, what I'm about to say here. Ryan finally got the balls to confront his dad. He told him, about the suicide attempts and all that, and just laid into him about his whole job, how much he hated it. And Ryan's dad just confessed, I'm sorry, I never knew that. However I need to change, I'll do it. Now, I'm not completely trusting of his dad yet. We'll have to see where that goes. There's definitely a part of me that says, yes, we can trust him. Yes, he is going to change, but who knows? We'll see how that goes. One more point, and then I'll get to the thing that really shocked me and really is making me want to see the next episode already. Going back to Santa, it was funny at first, But then, when Ryan tells Wilfred that Santa is not real, he says just because no one else can see him doesn't mean he's not real. Okay, that is so Ryan and Wilfred. Because as far as we know, Ryan is the only one who can see Wilfred that way. And I really believe that Wilfred was saying that not just about Santa, but he was implanting that in Ryan's brain, making him realize something. Of course, Ryan kind of looks confused and walk off. That was really good. But, oh Lord. I figured it out before she actually said who did it. But at the end, when Ryan talked to his mom about the drawing, and she said that he was more artistic than that or something, I can't remember her exact words, but she said that Kirsten was the one who did the drawing. Now let me reference back to episode 8. In episode 8, we saw a flashback. We saw a hand come out and start drawing. And, of course, you're led to believe that's Ryan. And Ryan's, at that point, led to believe that it's him. Of course, he's always thought that he did the drawing. So, was that memory altered? The Dalmatian or Wilfred or whoever, or both, or whatever, alter that part? Or what? Really can't wait to figure that out. Now, I actually had to go back and listen to something. When that scene first started, when he went back to the drawing memory, he said Kirsten was sitting right beside him, but that was in his dad's office. So maybe at the same time she was standing beside him when the drawing happened, and maybe that was her hand. I don't know, but that was awesome. That was a really good reveal. Of course, that's the note it ended on. Best ending yet. Even better than when Ryan ran to his dad at the supermarket and freaked out. So yeah, this is a great show. I love this show. And I'm also excited for American Horror Story coming back in October. And I may do reviews on that. But can't wait till next Thursday. Like I've said before, these are still really fun to do. Hope you guys are having fun watching them. And